Political party. But this morning we're taking a different look at the story. We want to know what it actually means, or how it works to launch a political career and start a party from scratch. Well, joining us is Paul Graham from the Institute for Democracy in South Africa. Paul, a very good morning to you, and thank you so much for your time. Let's just imagine for a second that I wake up one morning and decide news is not for me. I want to start a political party. How do I go about it?
It's relatively easy. You do the legal entity, you register it with the Electoral Commission. If you are like Mampela, a well-known figure, you can even perhaps get a few seats in Parliament without too much trouble. The real problem comes after that, as all the other new parties have found out, because you have a rush of people to join you based on what they think you believe in. And then you spend the next 4 years after you've got a few seats in Parliament figuring out who you are and who's in and who's out. Not a good way to go. I think if you want to start a party in South Africa, you better do ordinary community organizing. Go knock on doors, build a party, build branches, and don't jump too quickly to the listings.
And talking about the people who rush to support you quickly, say you start the organization, you get 1 or 2 people in your staff. How do you pay them? How important is funding when it comes to starting a political party?
It's absolutely critical. You've got to have financial backers. That's the same for all the parties. You have to build the party, you have to build the election campaign, and you have to develop social presence. And that's why we give money to the parties represented in Parliament, but that's not enough. Unfortunately, there's no regulation, so a person could go to any dodgy person with a lot of money anywhere in the world. And as has happened in other countries, people buy parties in order to gain influence over a country, and we really need to stop that from happening.
And in this hypothetical political party of mine, as is the case with many political parties in the country, I wouldn't be compelled to disclose my donors.
Not at all. You would be able to keep quiet, because in South Africa a party is a private club. Our view is it's not a private club. After all, we're going to choose them to rule the country or to be part of governing the country. That needs to change.
The disclosure of funding, or the lack thereof, how important is it? Who does it protect? Is it the government? Is it the donor or the public?
I think it protects the public. They get to know who's running the party they choose. Secondly, it protects the parties. I mean, look at poor Helen Zille at the moment. She's been accused of this, that and the other. Last week it was Mr. Zuma. So it protects them, and it protects the government from black money entering the political arena and buying, basically, the policies of the country.
So you think there is a direct link between the funding and policies?
There doesn't need to be if there's regulation, but there often is, both at the very small level of favours and at the very large level of deciding whether to build a railway, for example, or a toll road. You never know who's put money in order to achieve a certain end.
Very quickly, tell us a bit about IDASA's quest to make sure that disclosure comes to pass and seeing it in legislation.
Well, we keep pushing, and we hope that citizens will keep pushing as well. We hope that corporations who give money to parties will also keep pushing, but ultimately the parties will have to legislate, and we should shame them into doing that.
Well, if you keep pushing, something has got to give. Let us know how that goes. We'll carefully track that story for you. That was Paul Graham, Executive Director at the Institute for Democracy in South Africa.